Russian interference in the 2016 election, there are concerns about election hacking in 2020. Officials from the Secret Service, the Department of Justice, and the FBI attended Operation Blackout, a simulation of worst-case cyber attack scenarios for next year's presidential race. Ben Popkin took a look at what they found.
What we saw here is a war game for Election Day 2020. Foreign hackers and toppling law enforcement are locked in a battle, one trying to protect the vote and protect voters, the other trying to undermine the election itself and make people not vote. That includes not actually attacks on the election machines themselves, but what if that cyber attacker overtook the traffic lights, took control of the sewer systems, even the city's autonomous buses, sending them to crash into voting stations and killing people going to the polls? That's exactly what some of the top minds and top hackers here at Operation Blackout, a cybersecurity election day war room scenario put on here in Washington, D.C. A cybersecurity firm, Cybereason, brought together officials and agents from the FBI, DHS, and local law enforcement, along with top hackers, including former offensive military hackers, to imagine just such a diabolical scenario. The goal? Try to protect 2020, try to think more on our feet, and get those law enforcement thinking more creatively out of the box about some of the different ways that our election could be undermined. Again, not just attacks on voting machines, that's almost taken care of with the voting machines not being connected to the internet. But the next attacker, they're not going to necessarily use the same playbook that the Russians did in 2016 to undermine our election.
Law enforcement is far better prepared for 2020 than they were for 2016. One of the challenges of being in law enforcement in these types of scenarios is that we are a reactive force. We don't always know what all the possibilities are. I think that one of the things we're seeing is that law enforcement is becoming less and less hamstrung by reactionary thinking and is thinking more and more proactively.
So what can local law enforcement and civic groups do to work together to try to protect 2020?